Welcome, Kiss Army, to a new exciting look at history from three longtime fans. The show diving into the band and its 50-year plus career of songs, albums, lineup changes, makeup, no makeup, makeup again, products galore, and the events surrounding it. And saying to ourselves, of course I like it, it's Kiss. But is it critical to history? Join us as we take on the 1974 debut album on our own debut episode. This is Critical Kiss. Kiss, Kiss.
You take us as we are, or you don't take us at all.
Critical Kiss tearing up the screen. With the legends of rock, we're living the dream. Hard-hitting heads, banging never obscene. Critical Kiss, rock and roll supreme.
Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Critical Kiss. I'm Tommy, but I'm not introducing myself, so I'm going to kick it over to Brant, who's going to introduce himself first because he's the bigwig of this whole thing. I'm just the man behind. I'm the man in the mirror, behind the mask, beyond the makeup, whatever you want to call
The
it.
man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tommy.
I guess.
Yeah. So if you don't know me, I am Brant from In My Head channel, and I'm on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. But you can find my videos on YouTube. Been going for about 6 years now, and I'm really happy to be involved in this project. And we're gonna blow this up. We're gonna blow it up like Kiss does. We made some notes here about what we wanted to talk about, just introducing ourselves. And so Tommy gave us some homework, and we're doing the homework. So in my channel's In My Head. When did I become a Kiss fan? I became a Kiss fan in August of 1977, shortly after Elvis's death, and just before Kiss Alive came out. So I'm an OG, proud of it. And favorite Kiss album? We're going to rapid fire these off. My favorite Kiss album, if you followed my channel any at all, you know that's Kiss Alive 2. And my favorite Kiss song is Firehouse. And my favorite tour is the reunion tour. And my favorite member used to be Peter Criss, calls me to pick up drumsticks and start drumming. But as of lately, my favorite member has been Ace Frehley. So that is me. What about you down here, AJ?
Me? Oh, hey. My name is I'm AJ. AJ underscore AJR Zetro 1975 on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel, AJ's Happy Fun Time channel. Mostly horror stuff, but I have dabbled in some music stuff. Been a Kiss fan over 40 years now. Haven't exactly pinpointed it yet when it happened. I'm starting to piece it together. We maybe get into it later if you want, but it's up to you. But I'm going to guess around possibly 3 or 4 years old. Saw them on TV, and I think I freaked out. And eventually got Alive 2 as my first album. Not my favorite, but still it's up there because, you know, it's so special. My favorite album is definitely Hotter Than Hell. I call it the Black Sabbath Kiss. You know, the muddy, shitty production is you kind of look past it. Heavy as hell. Love it. Yeah, I don't know. Favorite guy always has been Ace. As much as a pain in the ass he turned out to be in the years reading about him, he's still my favorite guy. Still the coolest look. And I've been a soldier in the Kiss Army for over 40 years. So I'm old.
Yeah. And that leaves me, the baby of the group. I'm Tommy. My other channel is Heels and Quads Media. It started as Heels and Quads Wrestling Podcast. I have a WWF banner right here. That started in 2017. We started to make a little bit of waves in the wrestling business. We worked for some pro wrestlers who are now in WWE. I don't want to talk about their names or anything like that. But anyways, if you know me, you know who they are. And you know why I don't do that anymore. But my handle on Instagram and all that stuff, heels and quads across the board. I have personal stuff, but I've realized from the wrestling scene that it's not cool to give out your personal information because it doesn't stop ever. But my favorite, I became a Kiss fan. I like to say from birth because my dad was a huge Kiss fan. His first concert was Kiss at Madison Square Garden, the Love Gun Alive 2 tour. But in all reality, I started becoming a real Kiss fan in 1994 because my dad had showed me Garth Brooks 3 years before that. And then Kiss My Ass came out, which I know a lot of Kiss fans don't really like the tribute album, but I personally love it. And that kind of just, I listened to that song, Hard Luck Woman, obviously, but then the whole album, I was like, these songs are really good. And it wasn't even Kiss. But I went back and realized Alive 3 just came out the year before, got that, stole revenge from my dad, and then just kind of went back from there. My favorite album, in all honesty, is Love Gun, but I don't listen to Love Gun the most. I listen to Creatures of the Night and Hotter Than Hell and the debut probably more than any album. Like AJ said, Hotter Than Hell, it's just, I love that murky, like dark sound that they have in Creatures. Eric Carr, may he rest in peace. That drum sound on that album is fantastic. Favorite song, that one's easy. Love Gun. It's heavy. The harmonies in the chorus is what grabs me. Ace's solo, even though on Love Gun and Alive 2 they sing Love Gun over the solos. I'm not a big fan of that. I like the later on versions where the solo would actually play. And my favorite member is Paul Stanley, or it was. As I get older, like these guys, I've grown more attached to Ace Frehley.
Nice.
It's just because he's cool. And his solo album rules, and Paul Stanley's solo album rules, as me and Brant talked about.
Yeah. I'm with you on Love Gun, the favorite song, too. I love that song.
Yeah. I love Love Gun. It's about Paul Stanley's dick, man.
Pull the trigger.
And I'm going to do my best not to swear as much on this show as my other show, but I can't make any promises. It probably will happen.
I won't be offended.
And my favorite tour, I forgot. My favorite tour is the Hot in the Shade tour by Setlist. My favorite tour actually is the Farewell tour because it was the first, only, and last time I got to see all four in the makeup.
Which Farewell?
The original tour.
Oh,
the first. The OG Farewell tour.
Oh,
the
there you
Farewell to the originals. Yes.
Which Farewell tour? Can be the proud owner of a Critical Kiss t-shirt.
Join us.
Yeah. Be one of the cool kids. Unlike AJ.
Yeah.
AJ didn't get the memo.
They don't make them big enough.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
I'm actually surprised.
Are you a medium?
Yeah.
You're a medium. I love the quality of these shirts. I like the way the material feels, and I like the way it's printed. But yeah, this is our pilot t-shirt, and then Tommy designed up.
That is the logo, and then the Critical Kiss Army logo. You can get these at our TeePublic store. The link is in the description. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below, tell us all your Kiss information, and follow us at Critical Kiss 1 on Instagram because somebody had Critical Kiss, and that page hasn't even been used in probably 10 years. I looked at it. Critical Kiss on Facebook and TikTok. We'll probably put little short reels out on there. And probably other little videos. Brant likes to do stuff at the grocery store.
Those shirts are so nice. Tommy was rubbing his nipples on
them. Yeah. Critical Kiss. This gets me going.
There's your screenshot.
Critical Kiss gets me.
Not just shirts. You can get other things. Can't they get other things, other designs? Other things like cups, buttons, stickers.
Yes. You can get a tumbler. You can get coffee mugs, buttons, stickers, hats, tank tops, baseball 3/4 sleeve shirts, onesies for babies.
Yep.
Kid
We're gonna
sizes
have
hoodies.
exclusive designs and limited edition designs coming in the future. So if you see something you
Space
like,
balls the toilet paper.
yeah, the toilet paper you can wipe your butt with Critical Kiss.
Critical shits. What?
Critical shits. It's not always going to be critical shits.
No, not always.
Critical moments in history.
You guys should know that. It's documented in history.
I love Ace Man. Gosh,
It's documented in
for a
history.
second I thought that was Adam Sandler.
It was some interview he did over the summer. I
You
found
guys
it.
should
and I
know
was
that.
like, I like
I
that.
think Ace is just like Ozzy. That's how he talks now. It's
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
He's not drunk or stoned, or it's just how Ace talks.
He's fried from all the years of being
Right.
stoned and drunk.
So, critical moment in history. I have several, of course, because I always overachieve, and hopefully, I didn't steal
fine.
anybody's.
If you did, then we'll just say that was mine and we'll move on.
Yep. To me, the most critical moments in history concerning the timeline around the first album are Gene and Paul realizing Wicked Lester was not what they wanted and quitting that band. To me, I think that is the most critical, because had they stayed with Wicked Lester, we would not even really know who Gene and Paul are. The 5-song demo that they recorded with Eddie Kramer in March of '73, I think was critical.
So good.
The building of the team around them with Bill O'Coin, Neil Bogart, and Sean Delaney in the center of that team was very critical, to the point where Sean Delaney was literally the 5th member of KISS, and Bill O'Coin and Neil Bogart, had it not been for their belief in the band, they wouldn't have made it as far as they did. Everybody else was giving up on them. I think also the last couple things, the first TV performance on ABC's In Concert on March 29th, 1974, just a little over a month after their debut album was released. That was their first TV performance. And then the Mike Douglas Show appearance on April 29th, 1974, where they performed Firehouse. I think that those are just four or 5 critical moments around the album being put out. So that's mine.
Yeah, and to add to what you were saying about Wicked Lester, I mean, Gene and Paul just meeting in general is, critical.
Yeah.
This album and this timeline, this time period is so riddled in critical KISS moments that it's hard to pick just a few, because if you are a KISS fan, and my whole thing about this was like, yeah, I want to do this for KISS fans, but I also want to do it for like the generations coming up who aren't going to get the KISS that we all got. At some point, we all got, a form of KISS. They're just going to have the, whatever we're getting in 2027.
Right.
I don't want to talk about that yet. We haven't got there yet.
Let's stay back in the happy place in 1974.
Yes. This is a really good time in history.
Yeah.
All right, AJ, your critical moment in history.
You guys hit a lot of them. Let me know. I mean, that's probably pretty good.
Sunday Driver.
Yeah. Gene and Paul meeting for sure. Yeah. I mean, without
Some
that,
of those early songs they wrote together or brought in together.
who knows what would have happened? Right.
The collaboration Gene and Paul had, like Lennon and McCartney, and the fact that they both idolized the Beatles so much.
The fact that they're not, I mean, I understand that Lennon and McCartney are on a pedestal, right? But to our fandom and fans like us, we put Sim and Stanley right up there with
for
Lennon
sure.
and McCartney. And I don't care what anybody says, Kiss's songs are really good and underrated as far as critics go.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And my critical moment is kind of a weird one. I could have went 2 ways with this. It could have been either Neil Bogart or Warner itself dropping Casablanca from distribution because KISS wouldn't take off the makeup. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Because had KISS caved and been like, yeah, okay, whatever, our songs are good enough, we'll take the makeup off. Because let's face it, in the 70s, that's what got people to buy KISS albums, was They walk in the record store, they see the makeup, and they're like, "What is this?"
Mm-hmm.
So then they put it on their turntable, and they're like, "Holy shit! It changed people's lives."
Yeah.
I mean, think of how many, not just us, but like how many fans and how many podcasts and YouTube channels there are based on this band. It's insane. And without that,
go ahead. To me, the music is more important than the makeup and the image, because the makeup and the image is going to catch you, but it's not going to keep you. I don't care how of a bombastic show they had, or how cool the costumes were, how cool the makeup was. You know, in the beginning, it wasn't all that. In the beginning, it was the music that got people's attention. And I think that the makeup kind of pulled people in, but the music is what made people stay. Because if
yeah,
Kiss did not have good songwriting, they weren't the best musicians. They didn't need to be the best musicians, but but they were all good. I think some members are underrated. I think Paul is underrated as a rhythm guitar player. He's actually really good. Peter's definitely underrated as a drummer, and especially after Paul and Gene rewrote most of History. And Gene is definitely an underrated bass player. He's a very good bass player.
absolutely.
About the only person in Kiss that gets their props that they fully deserve, I believe, is Ace and Paul, basically for his songwriting and his stage antics and his singing at the time, not more recently, but back in the day. So, but the music, they had to have the good songs, because I wouldn't want to go listen to a show. I don't care how good a band is. If they were blowing up everything on the stage and had the most outrageous makeup and costumes, but I couldn't stand if their songs didn't hook me, or if I couldn't stand to hear them play or whatever, and the songs were garbage, I wouldn't. You might get me for one show, but you're not going to get me for more. And you might get me for one album, but you're not going to get me for 20 or 30 albums.
And you're not going
So
to get me for 50 years, that's for sure.
you're not going to get me in for
Yeah.
50 years. Right?
I've got a
exactly.
lot of other bands that I like too that I could do a podcast on, but it's not the same. It's not the feeling of being a Kiss fan is just something that's not matched by anything. I mean, there's so many things that I love, and I not necessarily collect, but I have things of that just it always comes back around to Kiss. Like me and Brant have talked about on his show, or maybe it was just in passing or whatever. But it's like I don't know what it is about this band. Yeah, it's the music. Yes, the makeup has something to do with it, but they were just as good later on when they took it off, and that's kind of to go with what you said. They proved to everybody that their songs were good because they made it through all that time.
Mm-hmm.
And they got us at an early age too. I mean,
Yeah,
And even when they took the makeup off, they still had a successful career.
yeah,
sure.
They were just as successful during the 80s. They were just as successful as any other band out there. They were pulling in as just as many people. Were they pulling in the old school people and pulling in what they pulled in for the reunion tours and stuff like that? No, maybe not. But they adapted with the time. That's what Kiss was always really good about doing, is they were good about being different and adapting all at the same time. And I hate that we're saying was.
yeah, because we all kind of watched the last show together too, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And that's coming up on a year in what, about a week and a
Next
half.
month.
Yeah. Next month.
I can't believe that. That was crazy.
Yeah, no, it's hard to believe. I'm still kind of in a vacuum about it, and in a void about it.
See, Brant, you were here a year ago, and it was freezing cold. And today we got snow, and it's cold. And last couple of days ago it was 60 degrees. So
Yeah, that sounds like some southern weather too.
Yeah,
We had mentioned in our talking that we wanted to talk about some of the choices for the first album, namely the cover. I've got, since you want me to go, I guess if you want me to go first, I've got some thoughts. Just quick thoughts. I'm one of those people that is not in the popular opinion side. I actually liked Paul's bandit makeup, and I like the bandit makeup better than the star makeup. I know a lot of people they don't like that at all. They don't agree with that at all.
Well, because you're trying to mess with history here. Let's
Right?
call it
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. Could you imagine that cut? Could you imagine the cover with the bandit makeup on it?
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing designs the last couple of days, I mean, fans have made mock-ups for years, you know, with even the Eddie Kramer demos. There's a cover for your bootleg or whatever with the bandit makeup on. I'm
Yeah.
with you, man. I kind of dig the bandit makeup, and
I
he would
like
have been Paul Stanley with or without, either one. So
Oh yeah, yeah, that same persona would have been there. He would have found a way to build the bandit makeup and build on that brand of the bandit makeup the same way he built on the Star Child, the same way the other guys built on the Catman and the Demon and the Spaceman. Those wasn't originally, they're. I mean, Gene wasn't originally a demon. He was originally a vampire.
yeah,
You see some early publications of Gene Simmons, the vampire, and Paul was the lover. You know.
yeah.
uh,
Could you imagine if Paul had two hearts around his eyes?
There you go.
I tell you what does look freaky because everybody else in the band is symmetrical except for Paul.
Yeah.
I've seen the videos, I've seen the photos where people have took the stars and made them symmetrical on his faces, and it's creepy. It's creepy. He looks like he belongs in a horror movie. It's creepy looking. But I like the way the bandit looks. Also I also think that Peter's African continent inspired makeup on the cover is I think it's ridiculous. And I honestly I think it takes away from the impact of the cover. None of the guys really had none of the guys Paul's makeup doesn't look, everybody can argue with it if they want to, but Paul's star on the debut is smaller.
It's
Ace,
wonky.
yeah, Ace's makeup is probably the one that stayed the closest.
Mhm.
He kind of made some hard turns on some of those curves. Gene's changed a lot. He's just got a couple vampire wings there that barely come down past his nose. What I think would have been cool, I think that's Peter's makeup is what I consider a critical misstep.
Yeah.
I think it would have been more awesome. You remember, I might have a picture of it. Do you remember some of the early photo shoots where I pulled a picture of it when Peter looked like this?
Yes.
You see how his whiskers go down?
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Now
like that.
imagine that on the front cover.
It almost looks like he's got a Fu Manchu.
Right.
A little
I
bit,
think-
yeah.
I think that would have looked cool because even the stuff that he already had kind of established, the only thing that's really close to being similar than the cover is the nose because the cat eyes aren't the same. He's got the red lipstick and the silver nose.
Yeah, because the bottom whisker, like,
Yeah, it kind of
afterwards,
has a
once
little
they
thing to
perfected
it.
It kind of goes
But
under.
and
the
they do
bottom lip.
kind of go down on his face on the
Yeah.
on the cover, but he's got all that extra stuff, and he's got the little red flavor saver going on in the bottom, and little extra
The little red
whiskers in the
soul
middle.
patch.
Yeah, the red soul patch. But if it would just been kind of just coming off and just going down like that, I think that would have, to me, would have looked cooler.
It looks like a cat that just woke up.
Right. Right. But
Well, first time I saw
like
that that first album cover, I'm like who the hell is this guy? Oh, that's the same guy, but it's like so much stuff going on. Like, yeah, that was too much for me, that's for sure. But
It's too much, and we all know that somebody else did the makeup for Peter on the cover. I kind of weirdly like it just as a one-off because it reminds me of, it's the debut. So of course something's got to be wrong. Ace dyed his hair silver to mess with the band.
Right.
I kind of like it as as an art thing.
Yeah, and like on your shirt, like your shirt and then I have like that cream one that came out with the 50th anniversary.
Yeah,
I like it on that, but like,
Yeah.
if he would have continued with that,
no.
no.
Yeah.
But as a one-off, okay, yeah, it just It kind of sucks because I'd like to see the image like maybe before the album, like it was something he was working on, but like I said, somebody else did it. So
Well, the photo that I just showed of Peter, those were some photos that were taken prior to this.
yeah.
So
That's
that was
like
kind of
the
what he was doing.
poster that's like $1 gajillion.
Yeah,
That
that's
photo
got where
shoot.
he's got the knife and he's holding it.
Yeah.
I think Paul or somebody's down in the middle and Peter's holding the wooden knife.
Yeah.
There's also another little misstep on the cover is you've seen some of the outtakes from this photo shoot. They're better takes than this one. I think this is actually one of the not as great takes. There's
Yeah.
actually better ones. It always bothered me that Ace is like looking up. But I know people say,
I
he's looking
kinda
at
like
Jen
that.
Dow. Like Jen Dow didn't even exist then.
I kind of like the Ace is looking up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And have you noticed that like all of their necks are painted white? It's like they didn't just paint their face; they've got their necks painted
You know
white
what?
too.
I have
Mhm.
never noticed that until just now.
Paul's neck is white. Ace's neck is white. Peter's neck's white. You can see it's a heavily shadowed, but Gene's neck is white, and they've got a little like this white in their hair. Like Paul's
Yeah.
got some over here. Gene's got some down here.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I've never noticed their necks were white. That's wild.
and I think that the white in their hair is just where it's rubbed off their neck. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they would have put stuff
Probably.
in there. But yeah,
Yeah.
but it's such an iconic cover. I mean, here it is 50 years later, and we're still talking about it.
Yeah. I'd like to know what is that a shirt that Gene's wearing that's like all gold and shiny, or is that just like a neckerchief?
It looks like a neckerchief.
Yeah.
An ascot.
Pre Scooby Doo. Don't take
I
my
think I think
ascot.
because they Gene usually don't have something like that, and if you notice, all of them have something around their neck, like excuse me, like Paul and Peter have chokers on. You never really saw Paul. Well, Paul did wear chokers after that,
Yeah.
but and Ace wore chokers too. Gene was the only one that probably never really wore a choker. No, he did.
Well,
He
Ace
did.
has got like a medallion on.
Yeah, Gene did wear chokers with the studded choker that his chains and stuff went to. So yeah, so I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. It's just kick me off the channel.
Oh, our comments are going to be beautiful for this first episode. Remember,
Oh yeah,
people,
they're
it's
going to
our
trash this.
debut too. This is going to take time. We got to build this thing. So
Trash us all you want in the comments because it's
I love
interaction and it just builds views. So trash us all you want.
Don't trash me
I
out.
love
Come here.
negative. Yeah, leave AJ out of this.
I'm trash.
Is it critical?
Okay, let's talk about the album proper and its contents. That sounded way too professional.
Let's see, Strutter. I think Strutter is critical to the album. I do not think it's critical to Kisstory in general. I'll probably get hate for that, but I don't.
You don't care.
What about you, AJ? We're gonna go around the circle, AJ. Get with the program.
All right. Well, is it critical to the album? Sure. I think I think it is for history too. It's on the first live album and it's killer. So yeah, it's critical to both to me. Hell yeah.
So it's okay to be wrong.
And
I'm kidding.
I'm
This is
also going to
opinion.
be wrong in Brant's eyes because I too think it's critical to the album. It opens the album. The drum fill at the beginning is the first thing you hear when you put it on. It's critical to not only Kisstory, but it's critical to Paul Stanley. I think this is one of Paul Stanley's best songs in Kisstory.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I figured I got to be controversial every once in a while.
That's
'cause people
right.
like
Fine.
people
I like it. Wait
people
till
like
we get to the 80s and really upset people.
Nothing to lose. I think it's critical to the album. I do not think it's critical to Kisstory. You're like, what is this guy doing?
You know what though?
Everything I've learned so far, Brant hates Kiss.
I'm
He
gonna to say
You know,
negative.
there's people out there going, "This is an iconic album. It's all critical."
It's a
Right,
give and
yeah.
take relationship. Kiss gives Brant shit and he takes it.
I would say I'd probably lean towards no, not really on both ends there.
Oh, okay.
It's a great song.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Stir
it's
that
a good
pot.
song, but
AJ gonna stand up and be controversial.
yeah,
The first Peter
I
Chris
don't think so.
vocal is not critical to their album. What are you talking about?
yeah, I'd have to say negative on both. But, yeah, to the album or history.
All right.
Take it or leave it. I mean, it's still good, but it's.
Yeah, you're
Hey.
half right.
And I am gonna go kind of the same. I don't think it's critical to the album. I do, however, think it's critical to History because even though it flopped, it was their first single.
Yeah. I can
So
see
in those terms, I think it's critical to History. And I like the unplugged version better. I say that a lot because Kiss Unplugged is great.
that. Firehouse, critical to the album, critical to history.
Why?
To me, in my opinion.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Well, I think it's critical to history because it was one of the first songs Paul wrote when he was 16. And I think it's critical to the album because it's one of the better songs. One of the better songs on the album.
I just wanted to know why, because you had swayed away from your usual hatred of the band.
But everybody knows I love Firehouse. It's my favorite Kiss
Yeah,
song.
no, I know you said it in your introduction. I just wanted to pry you a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay. I can take it. I'm a big boy.
I think it is
He clearly
too,
hates Kiss. Look at all the shit
is.
behind him.
I think it is to the album. Maybe. Yeah, it's kind of around the middle for me, but for history, yeah, with the live shows, I mean, come on, we're going back to Alive again, but sure, that's awesome when they would break out the sirens and Paul with the hat and everything. That was
Gene with the fire.
yeah. I mean, that was right
Maybe
there
before he
with
did
Hotter
it to
Than
like
Hell,
War
Firehouse.
Machine and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that
good.
makes
It was good for
sense.
the show.
Yeah.
It was good for the live stuff. So I mean, yeah, for sure.
Off topic, I would love one of those Firehouse hats.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
John 5, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. Call him up, ring him up,
Mhm.
shoot him a DM. So I have a weird history with this song. Okay, so I'm gonna make this kind of brief. In the mid 2000s, after I graduated high school, I maybe was a part of a bootleg site. And weirdly, anytime that I had to fit all the songs of a show onto a single disc, Firehouse would always be the one that I took off for some reason. I don't know why. I don't hate the song. I actually really like the song, especially now. I love it even more. But I do think it's critical to the album, and I do think it's critical to history because, like AJ said with the live show, I mean, that's where you got the demon breathing the fire. And it's a really good song. I just had to share that because I feel so guilty about it. And I do think it should have been played throughout their career because that should be Gene's fire breathing song.
Yes.
Yep.
For sure.
All right. Cold Gin. I love Cold Gin. I think Cold Gin is critical to the album and critical to history. I think it's not only one of my favorite songs in Ace Penn's song, but I think it's a general knowledge that it's a fan favorite as well. So I think Cold Gin's critical to both the album and history.
Same for sure. For the album, for live shows, for the history, it's still, I'm pretty sure, a staple, right? I would think, right?
Yeah, they played it all the way through.
In their set, yeah, and to find out, I didn't really know that when I was a kid, Ace, Gene, whatever. And then you see Ace. When I was a kid, I would see like the name, and I just assumed that's the guy who sang it. And usually that was the case. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh, that Ace sounds a lot like Gene. But then you find out later on, it's like, oh, it is Gene. But yeah, for sure. Critical, hell yeah, for the album, and History, hell yeah.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I know people who don't even like Kiss that like this song. The riff is badass. Live, that silence. Ba, 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 beep, ba, ba, wow. Yeah, that and it's it is a well constructed Ace Frehley song. And if anybody has ever watched any of my videos where I talk about Kiss, I always say Ace has the best pop sensibility. He knows how to write a pop song. And while this is heavy and rock and roll, it's very poppy. It's catchy as hell. And I think it is definitely critical to the album and critical to History because they played it throughout. Even when they weren't playing some of the older songs, they were still playing Cold Jet.
Yep.
All right.
Let me know. I think that it is critical to the album. And I think no. Wait a minute. I think it's not critical to the album, but I do think it's critical to History. And my reasoning is because it's on the album. It's kind of one of those songs. It's not one of the better songs on the album. A lot of people don't. I like it, but I know just generally listening to people, a lot of people don't like it. But I think it's critical to History because it's one of the songs that Gene and Paul introduced to each other and we worked on together, and it's got that trade-off of vocal
very Beatles-esque.
Very Beatles-esque. So I think it's part of their origin. And I think it's great. It's on the album. It's one that I almost went critical, but I felt like I tried to possibly need to say not everything's critical, not every song.
You were being a critic.
So I was being critical. And so not critical to the album, but critical to History.
Okay. I agree for sure. Well, first time hearing it, I was kind of like, it's all right. For like the album, no, I mean, not like I said, not really, but yeah, for History, for sure. Like, just like you said, without that song and them doing it, who knows what would happen, But definitely critical in History for sure for me. Album, not so much.
They had to have songs in the beginning that attracted them to each other musically. Otherwise, they wouldn't have wanted to work together. And they have stated, Let Me Know was one of those songs. Sunday Driver, Let Me Know was one of those songs. So it's very important. It's one of the cornerstones.
Yep.
It's like I said, it's Beatles-esque. It's Lennon McCartney. It's got that Beatles vibe written all over it. Had the Beatles written and recorded this song, it would have been a #1 hit, in my opinion. I think it's that good. I don't think it's critical to the album. I think this is one that we're all going to agree on. Actually, I know that now. But I do think it's critical to History for that very reason and what you guys said. I mean, it's the first song Paul ever played for Gene, and it's kind of funny that they decided to make it more of a duet and trade off vocals. But the first voice you hear is Gene on it.
Yep.
So yeah. All right, everybody's favorite coming up.
Kissing Time. Critical misstep. I wish it could be wiped from History. I actually don't have a problem with the song too bad. It's got its good parts and stuff. It's just the simple fact that it wasn't part of the original release. And so I think if it's a song that wasn't part of the original release, it should have been left off of all subsequent releases. If it would have been released as a single, that's great to promote something, but don't put it on the album.
Bands do that all the time. Like put out a single. It doesn't have to be on an album.
Right. So I just think this is one that the album could have been 9 tracks. In my opinion, the album could have been 8 tracks, but we'll get to that later. So
Did you ever have this album on 8-track?
I probably did at some point in time. I don't own a copy that don't have it on it. The earliest copy I have is still a blue label, but it does have Kissin' Time on it.
I
But yeah.
found it without it once and passed because it was too much.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so misstep for me.
Yeah, you can throw that song in the garbage for me for sure. And I didn't realize when I got the tape that was on. I was listening to the album for so long I didn't even realize. Actually, I came to the realization not long ago that I had the original pressing without it. You know
What?
So
Wow.
and then bought the tape one day. I'm like, what the hell is this song? I'm like, it's kind of a shitty song. I'm like, where'd that come from? So yeah, you can just take that and just launch it into the Sarlacc pit and Jedi for me.
Where's
Both.
Boba Fett at? I've got a Boba Fett.
See?
I should.
Nah,
If I knew that was coming, I would have thrown it.
definitely an 8-track record would have been fine. 8th song, I should say.
Yeah.
Because I think I know what Brant's hinting at.
Yeah.
You know me too well, my friend.
But they wanted to probably throw another song in there because they knew they had a shitty one, so they were going to throw another one in there. So yeah, no good.
I think it might be coming up after this next song too. I agree 100%. However, I will play devil's advocate. I think Gene's vocal on this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think he sounds great. I don't know if that's because it was recorded later on. I don't know if maybe some more live shows under their belts helped that. Whatever. He sounds great. I was listening to it before we started. Also, it was their first charting single, which is pretty awesome. Not the song, but it's an awesome little tidbit moment in history. But is it critical either way? No.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but I don't seek it out. It's not like, you know what? I haven't heard Kissin' Time in a year. I think I should listen to it.
I like the fact that it's got 3 of the 4 members' voices on it. It's one of the first that you hear Gene, Paul, and Peter. And they placed it perfectly, starting with Paul saying, come on, Charlotte, wake up San Diego. And then Gene coming in and singing. And then after the solo, Peter coming in singing in that higher register. It's off to Seattle, and he just sounds so good. But the song just is not the substance that is classic.
Right. Yeah,
critical.
And I almost messaged you guys and was gonna say, should we just leave it off since it wasn't on the original release? But I mean, most people have it with, so
yeah.
Well, we needed something to shit on. So.
True. All right.
Deuce. I mean, critical in both ways. I mean, one of the more critical songs, critical to the album, critical to history. I mean, they used to open their show with it back in the day. So yeah, it's get up and get your grandma out of here. I mean, it's critical all the way around.
Agreed. I mean, I wish that to me that's the best opening. That I wish they would have switched that with Strutter on the album. That's the perfect song to start a show with, in my opinion. So yeah, definitely critical for the album and history for sure, because it still stands the test of time. It's one of the best for me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed on both ends. I was reading something yesterday and it said that Gene Simmons still doesn't know what it's about. I always assumed, your man is working hard. He's worth a deuce, Matt. He's worth a shit. He's worth a shit. He's not worthless. He's worth
That's
a
what
shit.
you call. Hey, I gotta go take a deuce.
Yeah,
I would take a deuce. Hey, your man's worth a deuce.
Even when I was a kid, that's what I thought it was. And when I was a kid, I also thought it was hilarious to start a song with "Get up and get your grandma out of here." Like, get her out of here.
This day is awesome.
Yeah, man, I will never forget the first time I heard that song, and that makes it critical.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
That opening riff, and AJ, you're right. And for the longest time, honestly, I thought it was the first song on the album. I don't know why,
Yeah,
but I always
I
thought it was
think I
the
did
first
too.
song on the album.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if maybe I just skipped to it, or I knew where it was, or maybe that's the first time I heard it was probably on a cassette. So maybe that's just where I saw it go in and hit play, and that's where it was. So
Mhm.
I don't know, but I think it makes sense as the album opener. I think side B could have easily started with Strutter, and I think that would have made side B even stronger. We'll get to that later on. Sorry about that.
Mhm.
My bad. My bad. Everybody's favorite song up next. Another one.
Yeah, Love Theme from Kiss is a critical misstep to me. The
Mhm.
only way they could have saved putting this song on the album, and I've said this before, is if they would have kept it as its original intention and been Acrobat with the much too much or much too young song
Yeah.
tacked onto the end of it. But in its state, it's a skip for me every time. I don't find anything
Yeah.
remotely entertaining about it, and I've listened to it enough in my life that I don't feel the need to listen to it anymore. So I always skip it. So yeah, it's a misstep for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's pointless in my opinion. I mean, it is what it is. Like you said, it was a part of another thing. So it's just it's no need for it on the album, and no need for it in history for me for sure. So yeah, it's
If you're gonna cut off the best part, why put it on the album?
yeah, right. So no, just leave it off and just leave it off.
I always wish they would have done something with Life in the Woods. Because that
They
on
did have Life in the Woods. Yeah.
those early bootlegs or radio shows or King Biscuit Flower Hour, whatever it was,
Mhm.
that song was so catchy.
Mhm.
And I think had they wanted to put something else on, I don't know. Was it just that it wasn't finished? It wasn't really anything. It was just kind of something they did. It was kind of a jam thing that they put a couple of words to. But I think that in the place of this, at least it's something of substance. And this is kind of just like, let's do what, they've done for James Bond and all these movies and call it love theme from The Godfather had love theme from The Godfather. It's like,
Mhm.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
But
think when it come to Life in the Woods, I think the only way Life in the Woods as a song would have made it to the first album is just the title of the song. I think is not a direction that an image that they wanted to build on their very first album. So I think Life in the
yeah,
Woods would have had to been a rewrite. They would have had to rewrite some of the words, and it wouldn't have ended up being known as Life in the Woods. It would have
yeah.
had something different than that.
Yeah, because it's almost got a Southern rock, ZZ Top kind of Black Oak, Arkansas kind of thing going on to
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
kind of
So
hippie-ish.
yeah, hippie-ish, and like I said, they did not want that. I think they got their fill of hippie-ish in Wicked Lester.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
took songs, but just the fact of you see a song like She shows that they can take a song that was originally infused with a lot of hippie elements and strip it down and make it a metal song.
yeah,
So they could have done the same thing with Life in the Woods. They could have rewrote it, rearranged it, did some different things. If you're gonna cut off the best part of Acrobat, you definitely should have just replaced it with something like Life in the Woods or something.
yeah. Alrighty. 100,000 years.
100,000 Years to me is critical to the album and critical to history. It actually has surprised me. I love 100,000 Years. I love the groove. I love that shuffle beat that Peter keeps through the whole thing. It's not very easy. Everybody gives Peter a lot of shit, but try play a shuffle beat for an extended amount of time. And he does it a lot. He does it in Detroit Rock City. He does the shuffle beat a lot because just with his jazz background. But I found out over like recent years that not as many people are as big of fans of the song 100,000 Years as I am. I always thought that 100,000 Years was a fan favorite. But the more I do this make these videos on YouTube and talk about songs, I find out through people in the comments and people that I have in videos with me that it's not necessarily a fan favorite. But I like it. It's not my favorite song in the catalog. It's not one of my favorite songs on the album, but I do think it's critical to this album, and I think it's critical to history.
As time goes on, I mean, I always liked the song. I love it now. It's absolutely one of my top probably 5 favorite songs by them. It's just so great, and then and the live version too. That what is it? The 10-minute live version.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
So I love. I definitely think it's for the album critical. Is part of history. Yeah, and I'll take that. I'll take that 10-minute Paul version over some other live crap that they've done in the past any day. So yeah, it's up there for me, and I love it, and it's one of my favorites for sure. So bring it on.
Yeah. I'm with you guys on both fronts. I'm also with AJ. I used to just be like, like I could skip this song and be okay with it. As I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate it a lot more. And as a Paul fan, the breakdown's great. It's just, yeah, it's one of those songs. Like I remember when they did it on the farewell tour, when I saw them the first time with the originals, I was kind of like, I just felt like time was running out. And I was like, they could have put another song here instead of doing, a 15-minute version. But now looking back, I'm like, oh man, that was like such a great part of the show.
Yeah.
When Paul swings the mic cord around and wraps it around his neck. It's like, dude, those images like alone make that a critical moment in history, or critical in history. And yeah, I think now I appreciate it more. Like you said, Brant, the shuffle's great. The bass at the beginning. And you said Gene's underrated as a bass player 100%. I don't think even back then when none of them really had the chops yet, but even then he had the bottom end of Kiss had so much feel between him and Paul's rhythm and Peter's jazzy drums. I don't think this album alone gets the love it deserves. I think it's gotten it now, but there was a long time that people just it felt like they didn't give a shit about the debut album.
And even before Paul starts to sing, it's just the song already is badass.
Yeah,
it just gets you in the mood.
Yeah,
like a good night driving song. Like
yeah. Oh yeah, dark. Yeah, good fall winter song. Good driving at night song.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
nice,
when Paul,
nice
hit a sheet of black ice. I don't know.
Little spookiness to it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah.
But I feel all right. All right. The closer.
Black Diamond. Black Diamond, one of my favorite songs. I love Black Diamond. I don't like the way it ends on the first album. I know some people do the spookiness to slow down the tape. But I love Black Diamond, and I love once they get done singing and they do that pause and Peter does that do back in, and Ace does that, just that solo, that blues infused, just wailing solo. That's one of my favorite parts of that song, and one of my favorite parts of a Kiss song. Raises the hair on my arms whenever I hear it. So to me, I think it's definitely critical to this album, and it's critical to history. I mean, it's got so much airplay in playing time in shows, and so the band apparently loved it. It got a lot of stage time, and so I think it's very critical to the band and to the history of the band.
Oh man, as a kid, I love this song so much. It was just something I never heard before. The slow beginning, the sticks, you know, like, oh, and like you said, that part at the end where the just jamming at the bloom bloom bloom, it's just so cool. But that, oh man, that last 2 minutes just ruined it on the album for me. I just hit skip right away when it hits that. So, but on the album, yeah, I'll say Critical for sure, and History, yeah, man, that's just so. And them old recordings of it when they did it like in the early mid-70s, oh, dude, you can't beat that. It's so good. It's so good. So for sure, awesome song, awesome part of history. Critical, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. This one's running the table. This is my second favorite Kiss song. So yes, it's critical to the album. Yes, it's critical to history. I agree. I don't like the slowdown part, and instead of skipping it or turning it off, I just go back and listen to it again. This is one of the only Kiss songs that I could listen to on a loop all day and not get tired of it. I probably catch myself singing this song more than any other Kiss song. Doing anything, even just the guitar parts with my mouth, just singing it. That and then he's dropping back. Oh,
he drops down on his knees.
Oh,
the
God,
iconic dropping down on the knees, and Gene and Paul's on the other side doing the. It's just, I mean, all that coordination from Sean Delaney. I mean, it's just like I said, it just all works. It all works together.
And that's what I always say about Ace's stuff. It's like I can just hum like an Ace solo right now. I can't really hum like a Bruce solo or anything. Not that Bruce is bad or Vinny's or any of those guys are bad. It's just the Ace stuff is just in my head. It's like in my head. No pun intended.
Like miniature songs and melodies inside of a song. He just
and I don't know if just because I was listening because I was so young, or it's just I can hum Ace solos right now. I can hum them.
I think you just kind of proved my point earlier. I said he has the best pop sensibility.
Right. Yeah. And it don't make the other ones bad, but it's just
no. Paul, I mean, they all write great pop songs. And I know pop and Kiss shouldn't go together, but it does.
Right.
Popular just meaning popular. But yeah, his
good at writing
his tone
hooks,
the melody just, I mean, every Ace solo makes sense.
Right.
It goes with the song. It's not just something thrown in there. Like some of like Vinny's stuff, especially live, you're like, what the? Come on.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Don't mess with something that's already good.
Yeah. And I don't want to turn this into like an Ace worship fest, but I mean, credit where credit's due. You go and you listen to a solo on Ace's album, like on his 10,000 Volts album, which I think had a whole lot of.
It had some influence.
Had a lot of pop catchiness to it, but he's got solos on his 10,000 Volts album that you can hear the same tone, the same phrasings, the same licks, the same techniques that you hear all the way back on this first album. He's very consistent through his career when it comes to his solos and it's the way
all in the Les Paul.
Yeah. He's just very consistent.
Yeah, for sure.
Which side is better?
Oh.
All
right.
I'll let you guys think about it while I talk about it.
Yeah, you talk about it. I'm actually going to take mine out and look at it.
Which side is better? Well, in my opinion, I think that even though the A side has some bangers on it, and the B side has some bangers on it. I mean, it's a classical album. It's a classic Kiss album. In my opinion, A is the better side because I think that all the songs are great. Even though you've got songs like Deuce and Black Diamond and 100,000 volts, 100,000 years. Whoa, hey-yo.
Hey-yo.
Deuce, 100,000 years, and Black Diamond are critical, and on the B side, the two songs that are on that side, to me, the stinkers, they just weigh that side down. But now you may disagree. You may argue, well, the excellence of those three songs that are on side B are better than collectively of the songs on side A. But in my opinion, I would pick, if somebody said, hey, you can listen to side A or side B, I'd listen to side A.
Ooh.
It's
That is
tough.
tough.
It is. It's tough.
I mean,
I agonized over this.
there's three rock solid ones on side B.
Right?
And how many rock solid on side A would you say? 2, 3, 3
Three?
for sure. 4, yeah, I don't know, man. That is a tough one. I would probably, you know what though, I'm gonna say B. I mean, despite Love Theme and Kissin' Time, since Kissin' Time isn't a definite, like, isn't through all the we'll pretend it's, you know, not all on all the releases, the original releases. I think the three on side B carry it for me.
That's fair. So Tommy, you're the tiebreaker.
And you'll be wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to be wrong either way.
Wrong either way.
You'll be wrong one way or the other.
The only person you'll be right to, Tommy, is yourself.
Right. And hopefully at least one more person out there watching this. And if I'm right, let me know in the comments. I do like side A because it does have Strutter, and I did give Strutter some flowers earlier. But
I feel a big butt coming.
I gotta go with B because, like I said, Black Diamond is my second favorite Kiss song out of the entire catalog, and Deuce. And then
Deuce.
even though 100,000 Years is better on Kiss Alive, it still is pretty good on the first record. And I can live with Kissin' Time if I have to. And Love Theme is fairly short, so I mean, I feel like you're getting more bang for your buck with side A, but I think side B is where your so
quality over quantity
is.
Yeah.
You're
quality over quantity.
You're
three songs on side B are better than 5 songs on side A. Is y'all's opinion?
Yeah, I really think so. We're gonna get hate for this, AJ, and I'm cool with it. I'm sticking with.
I'm probably gonna be the odd man out. Honestly, I'll probably be the odd man out.
I don't think you will though.
I'm really curious to see what the comments are gonna say. If you're gonna comment about anything,
I think people are gonna side with side A and you because they're getting more.
Yeah.
Overall, they're getting more.
I was very curious. I'm very curious to see the comments on this.
Desert Island, you can only play one side.
Mm-hmm. Which side?
The other side is like it's a vinyl, and you have the little.
And I got to have side A, and you know why? You know why I got to have side A?
Yeah,
because Firehouse is there. Firehouse is there. And I'm not the biggest fan of Strutter, but I like Nothing to Lose. I like Firehouse. I like Cold Gin, and I like Let Me Know better than I like Strutter. So I'm 4 out of 5. And I don't hate Strutter. It's just I've never bought into the hype of Strutter.
I get it.
So
I don't know. That's probably the toughest question of this whole episode.
Side A or B?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's going to be the toughest question moving forward.
Put a poll up.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that too.
Most critical. This was tough. My runner-up was Deuce. I will say that. But I think the most critical song on this album is Black Diamond, hands down. And my least critical is Love Theme. I think it's even worse of a turd in the punch bowl than Love Theme from Kiss is. At least it's a complete song.
It's more of a Deuce in the punch bowl.
Yeah, more of a Deuce. So yeah, critical Black Diamond for me, least critical love theme. Make the hard choice, AJ.
That's pretty interesting. I don't know, man. Well, first we have least definitely. I'd have to go love theme for sure. Yeah,
I will just go ahead and say yes. That is the least critical.
That goes all around. I think I'm kind of on Deuce and Black Diamond too. Shit. Probably, I would probably lean more towards Deuce, just because like I said before about the how many when they used to open up with that for the shows.
Yeah,
and it was a pretty good staple for openers back several times. So, even during some of the recent ones too, I loved that. So, the the banners up and you hear the bring, it's awesome. So yeah, I'd probably go Deuce. I'd go Deuce.
When I saw him in 17, I took my kids to see him, and they open with Deuce and they close with Detroit Rock City, which was wild.
Oh, cool.
That's weird.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So what about most critical?
I mean, I was cool with it, but
yeah,
I'm with you, Brant. I think Deuce is a close number 2. It's Deuce. And I think Black Diamond is the most critical song because it was their first closing song.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And even in on the Love Gun tour, they close with Black Diamond. Unmasked tour in Australia, they close with Black Diamond. I think Black Diamond has had 3 different singers of this song throughout history, and all 3 are pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, Peters is the best vocally, I think, but Eric Carr's pretty damn close. And Eric Singer's not too shabby.
Eric Singer just looked bored when I saw him.
Yeah. I think towards the end more so, but yeah. On the album though, Peter's voice on the album is
and I hated Peter like for the majority of his songs when I was growing up. I told you I destroyed his solo album when I got it.
Oh yes.
Like, this sucks. Like, what is this? But
I can't wait to get to Peter's album when it comes to being critical. You're just man, you're just gonna take a dump on camera, aren't you?
I might, yeah. But I always like Black Diamond, and then like, oh, that is him singing. Like, okay, well,
yeah.
What Diamond?
Well, he's got a couple coming up next month too. Hotter Than Hell. He's got a couple.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you asked critical album or not, right?
Yes.
Most definitely. It definitely is one of the. I would put it in the top 5 of most critical albums.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we didn't even. I don't even think we ever planned on ranking the critical from most critical to least critical. So if we actually decide to start ranking them, there may be something that'll knock it out because it's real easy to say, oh, it's in my top 5, and then you find out you've got 10 albums that are in your top 5. So you actually have a top 10.
Yeah, and I just ranked them last year, and then I just re-ranked them last month, and I believe it is at number 5, maybe 4.
And when I reviewed this album, it was actually very low on my review because I not only when I reviewed an album, the way I reviewed it, I didn't just review the songs. I reviewed songs, performance, production, sound, and stuff like that. And this album overall ranks very low for me personally because of the songs are so slow. The production's not that great. It should have been produced by Eddie Kramer and not produced by Kerner and Wise. There's to me, I think Eddie Kramer should have been like Kiss's George Mariano, whoever produced all the Beatles albums. Eddie George Martin. Yeah. Should have been like Eddie Kramer. Every Kiss album should have been produced by Eddie Kramer.
And he did their demos that I like the demos.
The demos sound better than this album.
Yeah.
The performance, it's like he got a better performance out of it. It's like, how did they get worse going from their
Yeah.
demos to actually recording. How did they get worse? I think it had to do with the producers. And they themselves have said they didn't know what they were doing. So
Yeah.
why spend the extra money, man? You get out of something what you put into it. Spend the extra money and get Kramer. He already did 3 of the songs, or however many songs he did, 4 songs, 5 songs. Heck, just let him do the rest of the album. I guarantee you, I will say this, I guarantee you that if Eddie Kramer would have produced their first album, we would have got Acrobat in its entirety. I guarantee you we would have got Acrobat in its entirety. Because it's a rocking song and Eddie's a rocker. So we would have got Acrobat in its entirety. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yep. So,
But yeah, I definitely think it's critical.
What do you
same.
What do you
for
think,
sure.
AJ?
Oh yeah, it's up there. It's a debut, so you just can't. And it's awesome. So yeah, it's definitely critical for me.
Absolutely critical. How many of these songs got played throughout their careers? Whether they were on every tour or every other tour, or hey, the fans want to hear this at the conventions or even sound checks or whatever. Like almost all of these songs are staples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. If you didn't get to hear these songs live, and whenever we went to see them in the final show, I would have loved if they would have pulled out. Let me know.
Yeah,
I'd have freaking shit my pants if they pulled Let Me Know out. I mean, I would have loved to hear any of these songs they don't normally play live. I would love to hear it, except for Kissin' Time and Love Theme from Kiss.
Yeah.
Even then, though, you would have been like, "Holy shit, they never played this." Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, be like, I mean, that'd be like a bizarro universe. Be like, "Oh, dude, they're playing Love Theme from Kiss." Oh!
Everybody's high fiving at the sound checks. Love Theme.
Right.
And then afterwards, you'd be like, what were we thinking?
Driving home from the show and you put their debut
like, were we
in.
really just high-fiving over? Were we really just high-fiving over Love Theme from Kiss? Oh my goodness.
They did play it on like the cruise or something, didn't they?
I don't know.
I think they played it at like one of the sailaways or something, just like as a goof, because they would do like the elder songs and shit once in a while.
Yeah, they'd play like segments of them and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think any of us have like any like promo stuff or anything from
the only,
first
like I said,
album.
I mentioned the only thing that I really have is I have this album, and I don't even have the original Casablanca that it came in, but it is a blue label and got Kissin' Time on it. I think I looked it up. I think it's the second press after they added Kissin' Time to it. Yeah.
So that would have probably been late 74, early 75, I would assume.
Yeah, it's MBLP 7001. I mean, if anybody wants to look it up, and it's MBLP 7001. So it's probably late 74, early 75 press, somewhere around in there. It's not a first.
And AJ, I don't think you said you have the original without it.
Yeah, I don't have it on. There's no Kissing Time on mine.
That's wild.
I got it, if I remember correctly, when I was, I don't know, 10, 11, somewhere around there, for like $8, $9, if I remember correctly.
Did you?
Yeah.
Back when people didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Now they know. Trust me, they know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kiss records are getting out of hand.
Even in a little mom and pop record store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I told my wife, I said, I've got to finish it because it's getting out of hand.
Mm-hmm. And you're looking in, you're sorting through the stacks of records, and you see a Kiss album there. They've got it for $15, and you flip over and look on the back, and it's got Kissin' Time. Then you walk over and you look on the wall behind them, and it's like there's one up there that's like $300, and you're like, no Kissin' Time, right?
Yeah. or it's like $3,000 and it's got the pink promotional copy sticker on it.
Yeah, forget about it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought
it's the
since
same.
I got mine, I thought mine was a 76. I found out today that is actually a mid 77 because
Nice.
it's a Filmworks label with the
Yeah.
camels.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's like
okay.
3 different camel labels.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, I just want one of everything, and then I'll kind of go back because I collect a lot of different bands. So as far as records go, yeah,
The only other version that I have other than that one is the 180 gram.
the 14.
That's the only other one that I have of that.
Most people are interested in, and that's free stuff.
Free stuff.
So we're gonna do trivia every episode, and we will give away. We'll start with stickers,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll move up from there.
Yep. Yep. So
So
today,
Brant has a trivia question for you.
yeah. So, what we're going to do with trivia is, I've got the trivia question this time around. I guess we'll try to somebody will try to come up with a trivia question. And just comment down in the comments. Where do they need to comment? YouTube?
Yeah, comment on YouTube.
Comment on the
We'll
video.
comment on this video with the answer or answers, and we will do, I guess, next month we'll do a winner for this episode and kind of go from there. And we'll do it on so people can see it, so they don't think there's any kind of tomfoolery going on
Right.
over a sticker, but whatever.
Right. We'll take all the correct
yeah,
answers.
Dave
Yeah,
Generator.
we'll take all the correct answers and put them in a random generator, the wheel of names, and do that here on the channel. But this month's question that has to do with this album is, tell us where the album's photo shoot took place and when. Where did the album's photo shoot take place and when? So we're looking for a date and we're looking for a location. You have to get both correct to be in the drawing.
Was it at Sears? It wasn't at Sears, right?
Here's in the Husky department. Yeah.
I know that all too well.
Me too. Me too.
That it would have been funny though had they done it at like a Sears or J.C. Penney's or something, and they like still had like a Christmas backdrop behind them or something.
Didn't somebody do that? Didn't like Red Hot Chili Peppers or somebody do that? Like they went to
Probably.
Kmart or Sears and took a
Yeah. I
Didn't
read
they?
that. I don't. Yeah, I think it might have been them.
Those old
together-
Sears and Kmart family photos, man. Those were
Yeah, and
awesome.
they're all like doing the pose, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look
Kiss
it up.
went to Glamour Shots, and that's where Gene got that ascot.
Glamour shot. The Kiss Glamour shot for the first album.
and Peter went to Earl Scheib. Anyone remember Earl Scheib?
Hey. All right. So as we said, do that. Answer the trivia question. We're almost positive people will Google it. That's fine. Comment your answer regardless. And it's not going to be the first person. It's going to be by chance. Whoever wins the generator thing, roulette wheel spinning deal, will get the free sticker. The winner will just shoot us their mailing information to our Instagram, which I check more than Facebook. So Critical Kiss 1 on Instagram, and then we'll send it out to them. So next month will be our coverage, our debate, our round table, our Knights of the Triangle table, meeting of the elders and somewhat elder. Kiss's sophomore album, also from 1974. I'm glad that we finally got around to doing this, and we're still going to get hotter than hell in the year of the 50th anniversary.
Yep.
So
Yep,
we probably timed it better.
For sure.
And then we'll have like some little kind of Merry Kissmas special at the end of that episode as well.
Little bonus.
Yeah,
at the
There
end.
we go.
So
Very cool.
if you haven't already and you want some Critical Kiss merch. TeePublic link is below. Critical Kiss 1 on Instagram, Critical Kiss Facebook, TikTok, Critical Kiss at Gmail if you want to email for whatever reason and send us hate letters. That's cool. Maybe we'll read those on the air next episode to open. That would be
Let
fun.
the hate flow through.
Yeah. Tell us who
Let
tell
the
us who
hate
your
flow from your body.
who's the most and least critical to the show.
We will drink. We will drink your tears of hate.
Yes, I love it. But obviously, if you haven't already, you know how YouTube works if you're watching this, or this is also going to be on audio format on if you don't want to look at us. That's fine too. It's available Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever finer podcasts are listened to, Apple or Amazon Music, and then you can just listen to it on YouTube as well. But subscribe here on YouTube. We appreciate it. It helps the channel, it helps grow the channel, helps more Kiss fans find it, get in on the conversation in the comments. And of course, ring-a-ding-a-ding on the bell, get notified when the next episode will be available in December, because we will get it done on time this time. No more rescheduling. It's not allowed.
Nope.
If we have to reschedule one more time, it's over. This is the end. This is the end of the road for Critical Kiss.
Our first and last episode.
Yeah,
That's right.
A mini series.
yes. It has been a delightful evening chatting the Kiss debut album with you guys.
Always.
And I look forward to Hotter Than Hell because me and AJ both blew it a little in the intro. So
I'm trying to point at both of you. I'm pointing the wrong way. Here we go.
I got the
There we
easy
go.
one. Awesome.
Right.
Awesome stuff, man. We're out of here.
So
Thanks,
until
everybody.
next time, good night. We love you.
Good night.
Boom.